What's up, everyone? I'm Andy, and you're watching The Reboot Experiment. First, let's address the really ugly elephant in the room. My background. Yes, I'm fully aware that my background is a cluttered mess, and it really doesn't reflect the vibe I'm going for the channel and my house going forward. But this is the reality of building a custom house if you're not a millionaire and you don't have connections. It means you're stuck living in a basement, sleeping on a mattress on the floor, and sitting on an inflatable couch. That's my situation. This is not the kind of show where I'm going to gleefully tell you I'm $100,000 over budget. If I'm over budget by $5,000, this whole project sinks and I don't even get a house. That's how tight this budget is. My budget is not optional. It's literally taking every last cent we have. So, with that said, today we're going to talk about budgets. This is one of the more complicated videos for me to put together. The fact is, every location across North America is going to have drastically different prices, rules, and regulations. Everyone's expectation of what a custom house is going to be different as well. And the world is constantly trying to convince you to go bigger and buy more, and go bigger and buy more. If you scroll YouTube for any amount of time, you'll see tons of videos with $1 million plus houses, 4,000, 5,000 plus square feet. I'm taking a very different approach. So let's start by talking about land. After a ton of research, we settled on buying land in Smiths Falls, Ontario for $130,000, HST included. That's our sales tax. Now, most property in Ontario will be subject to HST, but in certain townships and certain situations, they can waive it. If you come across a property that is listed as tax-free, make sure you get it in writing. In my situation, we were told that the property was tax-free. When we submitted the offer, we made sure that all of the paperwork mentioned that it is tax-free. When we came to register, it turns out that they wanted tax. But because we had all our legal documents, it was the seller's responsibility to pay that HST. So in the end, we technically spent $119,000 plus HST on our property. A quick note on the tax here. The Canadian government does have rebates for new construction. They will refund you up to $24,000 if you paid HST on both the land and the construction. Now, $24,000 isn't bad, but considering my budget currently has $53,000 in taxes, it's not nearly enough. Next, we have the site prep. That includes clearing the trees, leveling the land, installing a driveway and culvert, and a few other things. What you may not be aware of, though, are all of the extra inspections and regulations that you have to follow. Before we cleared the trees, we needed to have a nest and roost survey done to ensure that we weren't affecting the local wildlife. Now, it turns out that the delay of our project meant that we were outside of that window, and we didn't need those surveys, but that may apply to you, so just be aware of it. We also had to pay for test pits to ensure bedrock location and soil quality, and we had to pay for soil engineers and a bunch of other engineers to inspect as we went along. The total for that is currently $11,500. Then you have all the permits you have to pay before you start excavation. That includes the EADS forms, energy efficiency, lawyer fees, building permits, architect fees, engineering stamps, mechanical designs for HVAC, warranty registrations if applicable, and more. Our total was around $22,000. Always check how much the development costs are going to be, where that land is situated. You don't want to end up in a situation where you have to spend $70,000 more than you thought you were going to. All right, now we're ready to build an actual house. We've spent about $170,000 tax in, and we haven't really started. So next up, we have excavation and backfill at $20,000, the well installation at $8,500, transportation of the house materials at $9,000, then the foundation. The foundation is costing us $43,000, plus $2,200 because we're doing it in the winter and they have to have special additives for the cement. Now that may seem like a lot of money, and it is, but building a basement is the most economical way to add square footage to your project. Consider this: a slab to build a house on would have cost around $20,000. For an extra $25,000, I'm doubling the square footage of my house. I'm going from 1,400 square feet on the main level to 2,800 square feet with a basement. Before you design your basement, though, it's important to know that there are regulations around that. Ontario Code, for example, states that your living room has to have a window. So make sure you design your basement carefully when you're designing it. After the foundation, we have all our house materials costing $136,000, plus the labor to install those materials at $53,000. We also have the roof assembly at $19,000, the mod bit roof finishing at $14,000, and the basement insulation at $14,000 as well. And because I have a roof overhang at the front of the house, it means they also have to build the deck framing to anchor that overhang, and that's costing $4,400. So where are we at now? The total so far is $330,000 plus tax, sitting around $373,000 tax in. The next part is where it gets really interesting, because the costs are going to vary drastically based on your location, the materials you choose, the contractors you select, and availability in your area. I'm talking about plumbing rough-in, electrical rough-in, HVAC, stains and finishes, windows and doors, water heater and sump pump, and more. My total on this is currently sitting at $80,000 plus tax. The largest cost in there by far is the HVAC. It's costing me $30,000 all on its own. And the reason for that is because I'm trying to be ultra efficient because of solar and lower my carbon footprint. That means I'm going with Daikin's ultra efficient cold climate heat pump. It can operate all the way down to minus 25 degrees Celsius, and I've added an ERV to recover my heating and recycle my humidity for better air quality. Finally, you have all the things that you can control: windows and doors, interior partitions and framing, drywall, flooring, lighting, kitchen and bathroom cabinets, toilets, showers, tubs, fixtures, stairs, water treatment, and so much more. This is your opportunity to save big money. I'm currently hovering around $47,000 plus tax, and I'm working every day to lower that number. If you are not interested in doing the work yourself, and if you decide to go to a design center and let them handle everything, expect to pay anywhere from $100,000 to $200,000 for your interior finishings. If you want to know how I got $200,000 worth of interior finishes for just $47,000, subscribe to my channel. I have videos coming very soon talking about contractor auctions and how you can leverage them to save thousands and thousands of dollars on your construction. You have to be willing to do the work, but if you are, it's going to save you tons of money. Remember, if the women don't find you handsome, they should at least find you handy. See you soon.